What stereotype do you believe to be true? Deleted. Please like, subscribe and comment so I can create more videos for you. There's always going to be someone that proves the stereotype. Stereotypes didn't come from nowhere. But that should never make it okay to place that same perception on everyone that is that race, gender, etc. I don't see the logic in having an experience with a couple people that fit any stereotype and then making the leap that it'll apply to everyone that is of their race, religion, etc. These are people we're talking about, with their own backgrounds, life experiences and qualities. An ex-New Yorker will brag about being from New York within 3 minutes of meeting someone. Interestingly, there seems to be an inverse relationship between how much time they lived in New York versus how much bragging they do. Born and raised there, they might mention it once in a conversation. Only spent 2 years there, in a dorm no less, mention it constantly. People who work in craft or fabric stores have a completely different sense of urgency from the rest of the world. All of them. It's like they don't even realize there's a whole nother fast-paced world outside their doors. Yes. Completely. This past summer, my son wanted to do a craft class at one of those places. It was a 3-session class that would end up with some sort of thing made out of clay. When we registered him for the class, there was a list of about 17 items he needed for the class. Where were these items? Scattered over 12 different aisles. Terrible descriptions, not even stock numbers so you could be sure you're getting the right thing. When I suggested to the store manager that they should create bags for each class, with the stuff you needed for the class, so everyone didn't need to spend an hour wandering the store to look for all the right bits, I got a completely clueless and incredulous stare. She told me that they'd have to completely re-merchandise the store to do this, or some other ridiculous double talk. My follow-up suggestion was for them to have kits ready for the students on the first day of class. Increase the price of the class to include all the materials, and my kid will show up, get his stuff and get down to it. Again, her reaction was that I was completely nuts for suggesting this. No basis whatsoever in reality. Belgians drive fucking fast everywhere. But they are still good drivers. I've only been at Autobahn once. It was during the middle of the night and sometimes it would take a while before we even saw another car. Of course, we were pushing 200 km per hour as one tends to do in these situations when lights were closing in behind us. Fast. Suddenly a Mercedes passed us at enormously high speed. It was either a SLK or CLS or something close to that, and just as soon as it appeared it started to vanish in front of us. The last thing I could make out was that it was using its blinkers while getting into the rightmost lane even though it driving on empty freeway. Guys named Matt always know and regularly hang out with at least 3 other Matts. Source, Matt, edit. Also stick 3 random Matts in a room with 100 other people. They'll find each other. South Asian people will haggle over the price of anything, even if it's set by head office in another country. Can confirm. We quote services at or below cost to affiliates and they immediately counter at half that cost. Weeks later they grudgingly agree. Another week later they counter half the price again. The super strict Asian parents forcing children to only study and learn an instrument that is either violin or piano. Russian and Indian too. I work at a music store catering to this exact product so I might be biased. Germans really do wake up at 5 AM and go place a towel on beach or pool chair and then go back to sleep, then arrive at the chair around 3 PM with sandals and socks on. It was my granddad's. He shot a German with this. Was that in the Second World War? No, it were in Benidorm. He had a row over a sun lounger, Phoenix Nights. That Australians use swear words a lot. I got to listen to myself talking recently and holy fuck, every second word was fuck or cunt. Can confirm this. Worked with an Australian major in Afghanistan and other than his fucking righteously amazing beard every other word was fuck. All my Marines were impressed that this guy could just magically inject fuck into every sentence, and still sounded like one of the most educated fucks they ever met. Long-haired white guys have to play guitar. Edit. String instruments in general. Edit 2. Yes, that counts. The hair doesn't dictate the playing of the guitar dictates that one must grow their hair out. Black people cross the road incredibly slowly in urban areas, with no regard for traffic. Usually dressed in all black clothing, in the dark, with nothing reflective on. I swear I've almost hit more black people with my car than deer. I worked at Starbucks for 6 years and could generally predict what you were going to order by your race. Indians equals chai latte, Asians equals white chocolate mocha, black people equals strawberries and amp, creme frappuccino. Edit. My opinion on white people drinks equals whatever is in season or something super complicated. I agree with the ones who say white people order for effect and not preference. Mexicans are either the hardest workers you'll ever meet, or the laziest welfare-sucking people in the planet. Source: I'm Texan. And 90% of the Mexicans I know can outwork anyone. Or Mexicans are either the nicest, most humble people ever or scumbag wannabe cholo gangsters who make us look like fucking ashats. Persians and Armenians almost always drive luxury cars, often with a salvage title, but live in small apartments or slummy houses. We Asians have good skin, don't grow a lot of body hair, and generally look younger than we are. We have overbearing parents who wanted us to become or date doctors and lawyers at some point. And anything below a B means you're borderline stupid. There's more than one type of Asian. I'm South Asian, and when people are talking about Asian people they tend to mean Chinese, Japanese etc people, and I'm like, oh, I'm Asian too though. Korean exchange students will only talk and associate with other Korean exchange students. When I was in high school we used to call the boys' bathrooms the Korean embassy. They would hang out in there playing iPhone games and shit, together. Cool bunch of dudes though. Edit. Oxford, OP. Black people can't swim. I know lots of black people and not a single one of them is capable of swimming. My best friend was black when I was a kid. I taught him to swim at the age of 13 and now he loves it. His family thought he was going to drown every time he said he was going swimming at my house though. Edit. He is still black. Edit 2. I know it's drown but this sounds funny. I didn't realize how ridiculously patriotic Americans seem to be until I visited. Like buses and billboards straight out of America all over the place. There was one anti-STD billboard about the STD rates in America and it had the Statue of Liberty over an American flag with some lightning. Like it was an achievement. Indian people are all cheap and haggle for everything. It doesn't matter if it's on sale or not. Can I get some more discounts on this, friend? I shop here all the time. While visiting the Louvre, I noticed that I could just distinguish the hushed voices of several French, British, German, and Japanese tourists. Then, all of a sudden, from across the room I hear a blaringly familiar accent booming over the rest of the crowd. God bless Murica. All the American tourists that come here to Ireland seem to be really polite and considerate. The only time I've seen loud and obnoxious Yanks is when a US Navy ship came to visit and all the troops got off to get drunk, and even then they were all real nice and didn't cause any trouble whatsoever. Pity I can't say the same about us drunken natives. Stupid people breed more stupid people at higher rates than non-stupid people. Something happens to Eastern European women when they turn 30. They magically turn from babes to hags. In Russia they call these women babushka. I know that this is also a term for elderly woman, but the men, so I was informed when I was there, also use it as a term for a once beautiful woman who's turned into a hag, of which there are tons in Russia seemingly. Americans love English accents. Source: English person living in America. Black people love fried chicken. Not because they are black, but because fried chicken is goddamn delicious. Every poor student has lived off instant noodles at one point and processed meat like sausages. I haven't been able to eat that shit since. I live in Irvine, California, and it kills me when I am behind a horrible driver. I don't want them to be Asian women. I will chant please don't be Asian over and over. Alas, it is all to no avail. It's 99% true. Asian women are bad drivers. I live in Korea. Can confirm. Typical ajummer on the highway. Why would I need to signal or turn my head? I'm only going to change 3 lanes. Oh look. There is my kid walking to school on the sidewalk. I'd better slam on the brakes without warning the drivers behind me so I can roll down the window and tell my kid to get to school faster. This is a true story. I was driving behind her. Almost crashed my motorcycle trying to not slam into her. Irish traveler gypsies are dirty, thieving bastards who cause trouble wherever they turn up. Has the typical American white girl been mentioned already? Common in the United States, they can be identified by North Face jackets, leggings worn as pants, Ugg boots, Starbucks coffee, and iPhones. Asian women cannot drive for shit, nor can people with Keep Christ in Christmas car magnets. Jews Asians are super good at math and science and basically anything not sports. Jews complain more than any other group. Source: sister works for an airline. More often than not when a spurious complaint is made at the airport, it's an older Jewish person trying to angle for an upgrade. When waiting on a table of Jewish women, you're supposed to ask, is anything alright? Hispanic women can whip a chancleta at angles and speeds that defy gravity, reason and evasion. Source: Hispanic male. That shit stings. Hispanic women have pretty good aim in general when it comes to flinging things across a room in order to hurt someone. Source: Hispanic female. Ashkenazi, Eastern, Jews are generally pretty bad at sports. They are generally smart and successful. They love to discuss things, every detail. However, I don't get what this cheap and greedy stereotype comes from. Almost all Jews I meet are a lot more generous and welcoming than non-Jews here in Sweden. Source: have tons of close friends who are Jews. In Europe it was once illegal for Jews to own land, therefore they were reduced to occupations regarding gems and finance, which was once handled with gloves and considered degrading. Dart. This is how Ashkenazi Jews became good at investing. The irony. Jews donate more than anyone and are pretty generous, albeit thrifty. While they try to be as smart about money as everyone else is trying, they were just good. As an Afghan Jew, I missed the boat on that one. I'm so bad with money it's not funny. A lot of people from the American Southeast are aggressively ignorant. Not only do they not know something, they think you're in the wrong for knowing it. It's a bizarre concept, but those who have run into it know what I mean. Aggressively ignorant are the key words here. There are plenty of ignorant people who are open to learn new things, but for a lot of people down south it seems like learning something new is the same as losing a fight or something. They refuse to back down. In this situation, you become the asshole because you've bothered to do some homework on a particular topic. If you drive a 3 Series BMW, male or female, 98% chance you're a douche. People that do the it thing in the comments are pompous, know-it-all cunts. French people are obnoxious. Lived with 2 of them for a year in university halls. Most disgusting 2 people I have ever met. Edit. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to generalize. Just the ones I met were awful people. It's mostly unemployed men with low education who votes for all the extreme right-wing parties in Europe. When given even the slightest opportunity, Redditors will be racist, sexist, etc.